we need to talk about a pretty stark warning, a warning about the future of work and maybe your job specifically. This isn't just some wild speculation. This comes from the analysis of a leading expert in AI safety, and it points to a future that might be just around the corner. So let's just start with a really direct question. What if your job, the career you've spent years building, the skills you've worked so hard to master, what if it all just becomes irrelevant by 2030? Just let that sink in for a second. It's a deeply uncomfortable thought, I know, but it's one we have to face. Now, the predictions we're about to get into, they're not coming from a tech CEO trying to sell you something, or an optimist talking about a digital utopia. They come from a computer scientist whose entire career has been focused on one single critical question. How do we stay in control of something that will inevitably become smarter than us? That expert's name is Dr. Roman Yampolskiy. And you need to understand, he's been in this game for a long, long time. He actually coined the term AI safety. See, his job isn't to build a better, faster AI. His job is to figure out how to stop it from causing a catastrophe. So his perspective, it's grounded in the really tough, unsolved problems of control. And this is his core prediction. When he talks about unemployment, he's not talking about 10% like in a bad recession. He's talking about 99%. He argues this is just the logical outcome when you create a technology that can automate not just what we do with our hands, but what we do with our minds. Right about now, you're probably thinking, yeah, but we've heard this before. Technology always creates new jobs. That's the classic argument, right? The Industrial Revolution, the internet. But Dr. Yampolskiy and others in his field are warning us that the AI revolution is not just another step. It's a completely different kind of change, something we've never seen before. And here's the heart of the problem. Our ability to make AI more and more powerful is growing exponentially. It's on a rocket ship. Meanwhile, our ability to understand it, to control it, to make sure it's safe, that's just inching forward, one slow step at a time. And that gap between power and control is getting wider and more dangerous every single day. So here's the crucial difference. The wheel was a tool. The printing press was a tool. They helped us do things better and faster. But AI is something else entirely. We're not just inventing a new tool here. We are literally inventing the inventor. It's a meta-invention that can think, create, and solve problems all by itself. And the ultimate goal of this whole race, the thing all the big labs are chasing, is something called superintelligence. And let's be clear, this isn't an AI that's just really good at one thing, like chess or Go. This is a system that would be smarter than the most brilliant human who ever lived, in everything. A better scientist, a better artist, a better strategist. Better in every way we measure intelligence. So when does this future get here? Well, if you look at the consensus among many of the top AI researchers, the timeline is, well, it's alarmingly fast. It seems to unfold in about 3 key stages. The first big milestone could hit as soon as 2027. That's when we might get artificial general intelligence, or AGI, an AI with the same general cognitive abilities as a human. Just 3 years after that, around 2030, you plug those new minds into humanoid robots, and suddenly, most physical jobs become automatable. And from there, by 2045, we could reach the singularity, a point where technological progress is moving so fast that we, as humans, literally can't even comprehend it anymore. And this just perfectly shows why the old advice to just retrain or learn a new skill doesn't work this time. We tell people, learn to code. Okay, then AI becomes a better coder than any human. So we say, all right, become a prompt engineer. And then AI gets better at prompting other AIs than we are. It's a race against a machine that can learn any new mental skill faster than you can. You can't win that race. So if almost every job, both physical and mental, eventually gets automated, what's actually left for people to do? Well, the answer is kind of strange. It's not about what we can do better than an AI. It's about what we, as humans, still want other humans to do, even if a machine could do it perfectly. This right here is the fundamental rule for survival in a super intelligent world. Jobs won't exist based on skill or efficiency anymore, and AI will always win on that front. They'll exist purely because of human preference, or maybe nostalgia, or even just tradition. So let's look at the 5 categories of work that might actually make the cut. First up, you have bespoke artisanship. Think about things like a hand-carved piece of furniture, or a painting, or a custom-made suit. An AI could probably make a technically perfect version for almost Nothing. But some people will still pay a premium for the story, for the human touch, for the tiny imperfections that prove a person made it. Second are what you could call legacy professions. These are jobs that only stick around because of tradition. The classic example is a very wealthy person who hires a human accountant, not because they're better than an AI, but just because that's how it's always been done. The job exists as a luxury, a status symbol, not a necessity. The third category is all about intimate human connection. This is stuff like being a therapist, a caregiver for the elderly, or a close companion. I mean, sure, an AI could probably simulate a perfect conversation, but in our most vulnerable moments, do we really want to talk to an algorithm? It seems likely we'll always crave a genuine connection with another person. Fourth on the list is live performance. We can already generate flawless music and art with AI. But we still pack into stadiums to see our favorite musician on stage or go to a theater to watch a play. There's just some fundamental human need to watch other people perform, to share in a live, unpredictable experience together. And the fifth and final category is jobs that require high-stakes moral judgment. Think about this. Would we ever, as a society, be okay with an AI acting as the judge and jury in a murder trial? Or making the final call in a hospital on who gets a life-saving transplant? No. It's almost certain that for the biggest, most profound moral decisions, we will always demand human accountability. So, if that's it, if those are the only jobs left for a tiny sliver of the population, we are staring down the barrel of a completely new kind of crisis. It's not just an economic one. It's existential. You know, funny enough, the economic problem might actually be the easy part to solve. A world run by AI could create so much wealth and abundance that everyone's basic needs for food and shelter are easily met. But the meaning problem? That's so much harder. For centuries, our jobs have given us our purpose, our routine, our identity. And this really forces you to look inward. If you had to introduce yourself without mentioning your job title, without talking about what you do for a living, what would you say? Who are you really when all of that is stripped away? And all of this leads to one final, deeply unsettling question that this future forces us to ask. It's a question that goes way beyond technology and economics, and it gets to the heart of what it even means to be human. In a world where human labor is no longer a necessary ingredient for society to function, what happens to the people who aren't needed? Dr. Yampolskiy's analysis doesn't give us a comforting answer. It just leaves us with a question. And maybe the most frightening part of all is that right now, nobody seems to have a good answer.